This conference will now be recorded.
You can probably drop it out there in virtual land in case somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, wait for Skip. Where was he at?
He was in an appointment. I was gonna get started without him.
Okay.
I was just waiting the 3 minutes in case somebody
Yeah.
jumps on.
Nice. You have that made special or did
No.
you find it?
Somebody gave Tim, there was a pack of stickers. Tim Hepburn's turned 60 in a week, I think it is. And that was in the stack of of stickers he got. So that one was mine.
Very nice.
I was sitting at my seat this morning when I got there. I'm like, oh, that one's a good one, Tim. I'm sticking it on my coffee cup. I hope you didn't want it back.
Perfect. Well, we will get my coffee. It's
Monday.
Don't want to risk sobering up. Coffee is the.
I drank a lime White Claw. I figured that was close enough.
Well, there's a full-on brawl at Attitudes Saturday.
Oh, was there?
Really?
Were you there, Emmett?
Not admitting nothing.
I was just at our morning meetings. I don't know if it's true or false, but
That was morning meeting this morning. Were they at the brawl?
walked into it.
They walked into it?
Trying to open the door and the whole bar was at them. They didn't sure that you walk in because the cops walked right behind them.
Yeah. If nothing more, it would be really good comic relief.
The way it worked.
They're just flocking in the door for this. So we are here for the utility information meeting for the 2 projects that we have out to bid right now. I just usurped my boss's job, so.
I'm just here for looks anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what we keep you for.
Yeah.
So just wanted to get anybody together that had some questions on it, just so that everybody had a really firm understanding of how this project was going to work and what it's for. This is for our general needs, excavation and or plumbing that we do inside of homes and things like that for various different reasons. It could be, we have an emergency over at the, for our plumbers, it could be an emergency over at the police department building, the public safety building. It could be, we have issues downstairs here, we need that. This is just basically, it's making certain that we have a contract with everybody that we need to have a contract with for that purposes. Excavation is kind of those emergency digs that we talk about and everything else. We go down that hierarchy list that we have. It puts you guys under contract so that we know that we have all the paperwork in place for you guys to work for us, all the insurances, all that kind of stuff. The other bigger portion of this is going to be over the next 10 years. We need to replace approximately somewhere between 900 and 1,000, we figure, water services here in the city as part of the lead and copper rules for the state of Michigan. We figure we're going to space that out over that 10 years to try to just help budget wise. I think we figured out it's like $4 million roughly that we're going to be in having to do replacements on at this point in time. We debated back and forth the best way to take care of it, and we figured this way right here will be kind of the best way for everybody involved, is that we do this as a time and material type of project. We plan on multi-awarding this, which means that there'll be multiple contractors that we pre-approve or approve to do this project. Other cities are doing it kind of the same way. They're pre-approving multiple contractors in order to get this done across the board for all of them. Skip talked to some people in, I know, Grand Rapids. He was at his daughter's house when that contractor showed up, so he got to kind of pick their brain how they kind of put this together and everything else. If you call us or when we give you guys a list, we're not going to send you from the north side of Alpena over to the high school. When we do it, we'll try to get you into one area so you don't have a lot of mobilization and moving around town to do that portion of the work that we're going to kind of give you to do. We figure we'll do somewhere between 80 and 100 services every year when we're doing it. Again, be split across the contractors that want to pre-qualify or pre-approve with us. And then every service is different. We know that going into it. We know every service is different that we're going into, which means that by doing it time and material, you guys are not having to worry about trying to cover yourselves by giving us a lump sum price per service. That gives you guys the ability to go in there and do the job correctly, the way we want it done, to the satisfaction of our clients, our customers, that we don't have any issues. We're putting in PEX line for everybody. It's the kind of, when we priced everything, that was kind of the direction we went with it, is we're going to install PEX line into these homes from the copper service that we have in the street. City plans on supplying the majority of the materials. We know which connectors we need kind of at the connection point. We know which connectors we kind of need at our meters inside the house. So that's where this plumbing contract comes back into play. It's considered, because we have to change it, it's considered city infrastructure up to the meter at that point in time, or 18 inches inside the house, whichever is closer. So the option is that somebody will have to probably or work with a plumber and or be comfortable enough themselves that they can make that connection inside the house. So there's another whole thing in there. There are times in some of these that we've been into so far, we've had to replumb the inside in order to make it all work. That's the other part of having these plumbing contractors kind of pre-qualified at this point in time, means that we can go ahead and have you guys do that portion of it also if needed. Because it is city infrastructure up to that 18 inches and or up to that meter point, we don't need permits. We've had that portion given to us. The gray area is, and it's probably going to require a permit from you guys, from the plumber's internal, is if you guys have to reroute inside the house, that will probably require a permit, just because you're rerouting and redirecting plumbing inside the house. But the meter connection will not need a permit, and that service installation will not need a permit, because it's become city infrastructure at that point in time. And we don't need permits for installation of city infrastructure. Other than that, I'm open if you guys have questions or anything like that. Yes,
Under the assumption that the majority of these are then updated from the main to the curb stop, or is it new tap all the way out?
we don't know. We think right now we have another portion of this that we have to do yet, where we're gonna have to check at the curb stop to know what materials we have. There could be days that you're digging all the way to the main. We just don't know that.
Yeah, we have, we've already replaced 100. Out of that 100, we have found 2.
That we've had to go all the way to the main.
So,
But for the most part, they've been.
so it's been running, so I'm going 2%.
Yeah,
So as long as it's copper at the curb stop on the main side, then it's just curb stop.
Within
curb
18
stop out.
inches.
Yep.
So in the case that you do have to go all the way out and trying to organize, with a plumber, what's the thoughts? Jumping down so you don't crack the main and putting a new tap in and then rerouting back in so they stay on until a plumber can hook up?
Or do we just
have to be-
schedule that at,
And it could be that we just get into a reschedule
Sure,
with that one.
right. Don't
Something if-
pick it up to the main
Yeah.
until we get it all
So
scheduled.
we're
That
ready.
was just kind of my,
Yeah, we need to keep them service. Is there ways that we can jump around it for a little bit? Yeah, but long-term,
I
maybe
mean, if
not.
the main's within 10, 15 feet, maybe.
Mhm.
I guess if you have it dug up already, you could replace from curb stop out because there's already a joint there.
Mhm.
Schedule
To do the street side.
to the street side.
Mhm.
And that 2% would probably be DPW, wouldn't it?
DPW possibly. Yeah, if you guys did that portion of it, we would either, if it's close, a lot of times if they're short side, you guys can get them taken care of without an issue. Some of them, if it's not a gooseneck, leaded gooseneck into it, we can go to that tap and go into it. But if it's a matter of putting a new tap in and stuff like that, that's something we can evaluate on the fly. You guys can hook on to what's there and then we would schedule it to get it done. But I would say 99% of your stuff is going to be property owner side of this, which is across the sidewalk and stuff. Sidewalk, we will be taking care of as part of our city sidewalk contract portion of it. If we get into, we can't reroute around a driveway or something like that, that will be all stuff that we take care of. You'll have to get them temporarily patched together enough that they can function until we can get there, but we're on the hook for us taking care of that portion of it. Street repairs, curb work, any of that will be done as part of our city contracts that we have in place. Clean saw cuts, things like that would be kind of on your end. But, as far as replacement of hard surface, that's all going to be part of our existing city contracts.
Leaving it in a patchable state.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you, not saying that you couldn't call me and say, hey, we're going to end up tearing out half this guy's driveway. I can pick up the phone at that point in time and call my lustrous concrete guy and say, hey, where are you guys at? How do you want us to leave this? We've done that before and they've went in the next day and started putting it back together for these folks. So
Where's the materials gonna be? You said materials supplied by city. Is that something we gotta come check out?
typically, if we know you're coming, you'll get a spool of,
Specs and fittings and, okay. Documentation on these homes, so is there gonna be any requirements?
Skip will need to verify those. A city official, I think is how it's written, is that a city official has to verify.
Verify?
Yep.
Open trench and,
Yep. Well, and it's,
Basically check the connection.
yeah, check the connections.
we don't have no map that we're putting lines on that show direction, connection,
Nope,
nothing like that.
nothing like that.
What about as far as, obviously, once you open up, as far as chlorination, what are we trying to do? Obviously.
Typically, we run them for about 15 minutes inside the home at the lowest point. cleans them out. Just before you hook them up inside, we have you crack them outside to get any dirt out of them. Yep.
I usually before the meter,
Mhm.
I just get a couple 5-gallon buckets and fill them. And generally 30 to 40 feet, so
Mhm.
line doesn't even hold 5 gallons. So if you go 3 or 4, you flushed it out. Then when I hook the meter up, then I open a hose bib or whatever sinks closest.
Anticipated work is supposed to start this year.
Yeah, we have money actually already in this year's budget to do some of this if we wanted to.
This is the grant dollars that they were talking.
We had $0 grant dollars for this.
Really?
This is 100% city funded.
Good.
I know some cities went out and got some money that they just went through and hammered them all out at one time, but we
I think
did
you have
not
to have
chase those
I
loans.
think you have to have your inventory done in order to get money.
Mhm.
And that's what we're working on right now is getting our inventory.
Generally, it's low income too.
I mean, because it's going to be over 10 years, I think we'll go after some money, but probably not until after January 1 next year when we've got our inventory and we can say we have this many to replace, is how much it's going to cost. Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of this is us meeting our policies. You know, we have purchasing policies and contractual policies and stuff like that. A lot of this is us getting this in place so that we're within our financial policies. And then I just didn't want to award it just to one contractor, wanted to be able to kind of share that project across multiple contractors.
Yeah. And we'll do our best to just kind of go down the list, each time. And, sometimes it's going to be based on availability. And other times, I mean, maybe it is based on cost in some situations, but, because we've got to be good stewards of the money too. But
Would be
You know,
my
it's-
preference too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the homeowners may have a preference also. We'll give them some
Yep.
leeway or say.
But ultimately it comes down to every time we run into one of these, we don't want to have to go out and get prices.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive enough now where it's over our threshold. So it's like, yeah, we just gotta get some contracts with a few folks and then we can just call you up when we're ready. Like Shannon says, then we have all the insurances are on file, all that stuff that, we typically have to get is done.
We're going to award these below the bond level for everybody, just so we don't have to deal with bonding. They're easy enough, simple projects that way we don't have to get in, you guys don't have to get into the bonding and stuff. It's more making certain that you have the insurance requirements met.
Who makes the call on the inside? If we do have a problem on the inside where a home needs to be repiped for whatever reason, is that you guys making that call, like we need to do this?
Yep, Skip or I will take a look at it and make a decision. Usually Skip, he can look at it and say,
We don't want you pulling out cement porches.
mhm.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so if it's easier to come over to the side of it and relocate the meter without too much.
Yeah, we've done a number, that's why I'm asking. Just
Right.
want to make sure sometimes we're the big tree that great grandma planted that we don't want to dig up. I mean, I've seen it all, so.
Yep, and that's why we're setting up with the plumbers too, to be able to get that portion of it taken care of as far as we run into this or something. Typically, hopefully, we would know in advance. We know you guys are going to these, we're gonna get eyeballs inside of them quick before you get there. And we can make that call before we even get into that.
We've had some luck pulling them too, without digging up the whole yard.
Yep,
Galvanized, I'll say there's a nice porch you don't want a tunnel under. You dig outside the porch, make a little bigger hole, cut the galvanized.
Pull it through.
Usually you could pull on galvanized 10, 15 feet. You can never get a cable through it.
no,
No.
On lead lines, that's sweet. If you could find lead and you think it's lead the whole way. If you know it's lead in the house, go check out. And if it's lead out at the
porch or
Or
the
at,
curb stop.
curb stop, you can slide a cable and pull the whole thing through without even digging up the yard. There'll probably be some boring.
Yep. We got a couple of them that we're thinking there could be borer projects on them. Just because it'll be more cost effective across the board. Right now, we know we have one that we have a concrete basically the entire frontage of the house is concreted. So, and new concrete, so don't want to get into it if we don't have to.
I mean, I've been looking around and people are doing it all different ways all over the place. My daughters, they actually ran a mole. Cut a hole in the block. They only had to go 30 feet to the shut off. They just ran a mole, pneumatic mole down. I don't know how they controlled it or aimed it, but
It worked, eh?
they were in and out in 2.5, 3 hours.
We were doing them last year in Traverse City that they were knocking out 4 of them a day. They had one of the newer automated mole systems.
Mhm.
And they were literally just pop holing and blowing in and doing 4 services a day, cleaned up and done, walking away.
Yeah, smaller holes and everything. So, I mean, that's something.
Any warranty requirements?
Any what?
Warranty?
Well, if it breaks the next day, I'm going to make you come back and fix it, yeah.
So it proves a good faith thing then.
Yeah.
You know, basically, you're only going to have join up the curb stop and
Home,
Yeah.
home.
at the meter.
Yeah, if they call me the next day and say there's water gushing in their basement and it's the connection you made in the meter, yeah, we're going to have a conversation. If it breaks over the winter, you know, to me, it's not, that's not a contractor fault.
You seem to get a lot of the rushing with these. So sure to handle that. Permits are gonna handle one by one, though, sound like.
If you need a permit, then we'll get into it. If not, like I said, where it's considered city infrastructure, the minute it became city infrastructure, the permitting went away because Skip and I can inspect them.
I don't know really on the plumbing. I mean,
The internal, I said if we had to reroute plumbing inside, that would need a permit.
but I'm wondering if it's like over 4 feet, 5 feet,
Mm-hmm.
you got to run 30 feet of pipe.
Yeah. I would say anything over that 18 inches or to the meter is going to, I think when we hit the, if we can hit the meter directly, then it's not, it doesn't require a plumbing permit, it sounded like. If we had to reroute inside the house, that required a plumbing permit. Because you were rerouting their internal plumbing.
So we'll have that conversation before we even get there.
Yeah.
That's our hope. Is that it's not something that blindsides us. We're gonna know where the meters are. We've had staff in 3/4 of the homes at this point in time, so we know where the meters are.
That we're going to remember.
Yeah, not where we're gonna remember, but
We have found them.
Yep.
Been in 4 today already.
yeah.
Glad the one was copper.
Yeah.
Comes up in the center wall in the basement. Finished. Nice cubby hole.
Any special requirements for disposal on the lead side?
Think so.
No,
Find someone making downrigger balls. That'd be me.
Should be Skip.
No, I got enough.
Dan might be running out. No, but that's, you know, you guys are just responsible for the disposal of the material. A lot of what we've dug here, we haven't seen a lot of, nothing has come back out of the ground that we couldn't put back into the ground, so we're not having to haul a lot of stuff off or anything. You might have some concrete if you break it up. We have one contractor that infamously is really good at jigsaw puzzles, and he puts them back together for us. Confuses the hell out of the concrete guy. Yeah, so I mean, we've got a little bit of that stuff that you just got to make certain, like when you leave, the sidewalks are passable or marked so that we can get them taken care of.
It's like temporary gravel and backing flush is adequate.
Yep. Temporary gravel is fine.
Well, that's being reseeded and everything.
There, in that contract, there is an option. I'd like to, this is what it is to replace it and then tell me what it is to restore it. We'll make that decision once we see those prices, how we're going to proceed with that, because people are fussy about their front yards. I get it. And my guys know at DPW know what it's going to take to make them happy-ish through this whole situation, because nobody really wants their front yard tore up, but this is where we're at with it. We don't really have a whole lot of choices on them. So I think we got one right now that we have manicured landscaping too, that's probably going to be a bore, just so we don't need to get into it type thing. So, I mean, so we're going to be looking at these before we start doling them out as far as how they're going to go in and out and stuff like that. But the restoration will be a separate line item in there as far as what it's going to cost for that. Asking everybody for what they consider their average price for a replacement is, again, we know every one of them is different, but usually when somebody calls and says, I need a water line replaced, you already in your mind have that number kind of ticking around as this is where it starts and it goes up or down from there when you see it. That average number is the one I'm looking for. It just gives us an idea what your thought process is as far as how they go in and stuff. Any other questions?
Any compaction requirements?
Active effort. You know what? So long as, and I can tell you, I use the heel test a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You're not seeing the tracks of my boots, or you're not seeing the heels of my boots anymore, then it's compacted.
Drag it and lifts it.
Yep, bringing it in lifts, get it compacted back down. I don't want to go fix holes in a year. So yeah, compactive effort. You're getting, you're going back and forth with your hand packer and it's not sinking anymore. Next lift.
Oh, another thing, once we start doing waters, there's gonna be people that want sewers.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the same thing.
And that is gonna be up to you and the homeowner. I mean, in the past, what we have done is split the excavating cost between the homeowner, especially if they're in the same ditch.
You're lined up.
Yep, if they're in the same trench, then we'll split the cost with the homeowners to replace.
That's something you think you'll carry on to this project? Likely.
Likely.
I mean, I'd love to see all the sewers replaced.
Putting outs outside?
Yep.
Yeah. Brings us every day.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, also if the homeowner goes through their expense, then the city will have to go through ours.
do
and
ours.
Continue it out.
Gotcha.
I can tell you if it's within 3 feet, it'll probably be you.
Yeah, if the main's under the curb, you'll go.
Yeah.
the whole way.
We just have you do
And
it.
then we'll pay for that last.
Yep.
The city side,
Gotcha.
city portion. There is no
portion.
city
City
side.
side, right.
Um,
City portion of the infrastructure.
when we get to the actual point where this is awarded and stuff like that, one of the things we will ask for is who you want us to contact. Is it like an emergency contact for us? There are times that we just know we can't dig it at the DPW, and we will call out then on our list and just get a contractor. I'm just looking for that person. Who do you want me to call? So just kind of have that in your minds. If we award to you or whatever, then I'm going to need who you want us to call if we have an emergency situation. There's just times that we don't have the equipment that's big enough to do everything. I'm going to see from your list if you got the equipment big enough to do something for us.
I mean, on these services, the last 6 that we've actually replaced have all been leaks throughout the winter.
And this is the same list that we will use and the same contract I will use if we have a sewer collapse or something that we can't dig ourselves. This is the list I'm going to call.
Cool.
At 10 o'clock.
I think,
25 after.
yeah.
10?
9.
Any other questions for us?
Good.
Okay. Not our problem. I appreciate you guys coming in and getting the information. Just wanted to get you all in one room. Sometimes it's just easier to explain what we're looking for than to have you guys guessing. You know, if you have any other questions, feel free to get a hold of us. You know, again, this is a time and material bid because we know everything's different. The average price, again, is just, we're not going to hold your feet to the fire on it because we know everyone's different. It's just going to give us a thought process on your part, what it's going to take to do it. So.
Have any estimated guess of when they would kick off this year?
It's going to be, you know, it's one of those things, it's going to be, let us get through our inventory portion of it. Let us get through some of that. I'm not going to tell you if it doesn't get as nice as it was here 3 weeks ago. There, if you guys called and said, hey, do you got a couple available, that we probably could dig a couple up.
You want us all to sign in?
No, it wasn't required, so.
Bunches of them.
Yes, bunches of them, yeah. And like I said, when we go ahead and hand them out, we'll try to get you, so there's 4 on this block, we'll give you all 4 of those, you know, so that you're not, again, you can bring your trailer and park it someplace and go for a couple days or whatever.
Yeah, we're looking at, basically, we have 18% that are running galvanized right now. So out of 4,444 comes to 800 and something.
It's right around that, we're figuring right around that 900 level. That's where we're gonna end up. So,
These are residential and commercial locations.
we're probably gonna replace the commercial because we kind of see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
A lot of the commercial downtown now has residential above it or apartments. So-
Mixed use, yeah.
Yeah, it's mixed use. We can see that being the next
I
thing.
haven't
is
seen
that
a
the
lot of
mixed
rules
use.
on that yet, so.
No, because this is really, it is residential only, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you can see the writing on the wall. We all know what's coming, yeah.
So, and that skips checking them already, so we have that inventory done as part of this. Anything that's above that, we
I mean,
know
those
is galvanized.
if you get on Second Chisholm, that might, now you have Deal State.
Yep.
Mhm.
But a lot of those were done, so.
COVID
lot
was
of
nice,
wash.
the bars were closed.
Yeah, the bars were closed. We were able to change a lot of services. So, yeah, a lot of state and a lot of Chisholm is taken care of. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of them left there. Possibly down past where they resurfaced this year. There might be a few down there, but we know from 11th to Johnson, it's all brand new water service under the road. So it's just a matter of, it would be all property owner side in that section if we got into it. And we have to issue the permits for that, so you guys wouldn't have to go through that, but you'd have to have your insurance on file with the state. If you don't have your insurance on file with the state, that's when we kind of selectively pick maybe contractors who have already went through that whole process with them. So.
Traffic control.
Traffic control, we will take, traffic control will be minimum. You guys can throw a couple barricades at the end or cones or whatever to close it off. State Avenue traffic control, we will help you with. I have enough signage. Yeah, you won't have to hire that out. I'll take care of that. I have enough signage at this point in time and I have access to the state emergency trailer. If I get with Precourt in advance, we can usually make it happen. Washington Avenue, did we check that one or
Which one?
all of Washington?
We've been in and out of them.
I guess we've been in some of them.
There's still a couple.
We know there's a couple on state that they're 100 feet back and stuff like that. We didn't get into those, but most of those will be on the property owner side, and we can have just signage that their shoulder work. I ordered those the other day.
Big Fletcher house, that was like a 2-inch line.
Yeah, we did that one already.
No, we didn't
I thought we did.
check the city side and it
Oh.
was good. Theirs isn't.
Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah, because it was 100 feet, 2-inch.
Oh, no, I was thinking of something else. Other than that, we'll work with everybody as much as we can, trying to share the wealth of the work here across the contractors that bid it. And kind of give everybody a little chunk of the pie if we can. That's the goal with it. There may be contractors that are more available than others. We'll just work with everybody as much as we can. We do know, Skip and I have already talked, we do know some of the work will actually get covered by our larger infrastructure projects. So we know like Taylor Street's going to get rebuilt in the next 2 years. We won't go up Taylor Street with these. They'll get done as part of the other. So
Second Fair Towers.
Second
Yep.
Fair, Tawas, all of those will get done during those infrastructure projects. But even on those, 2 or 3 typically is all you're seeing on those. So
Fair, I think there's more than I thought.
is there? Other than that, that is all I have unless you guys have other questions. Awesome. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks everybody for coming in, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. My phone, calendar was beeping at me.